Our school recently purchased a 3D color printer, prints in full color, not just one color at a time. And one of the projects I thought up for it was this flash drive project, where I would go ahead and model a flash drive insert, and then you can make your own flash drive case, whatever you want, and insert them inside. So here's the finished product of the one that I printed off for myself. This is my flash drive Mario project, and I'll show you quickly as kind of spinning him around. There's a Luigi on the other side, so it's half and half. And Mario is something that I grew up with. I played a lot of that when I was a kid, so that's kind of why I went with that design. But this is really open for any kind of interpretation. If you like the 8-bit, or what you guys now call retro gaming appearance, an easy way to do this with Inventor is when you're on your original sketching phase, if you go into Tools, Application Options, and check into your sketching options, then you can go to Display Grid Lines and Snap to Grid. And once you apply that, alright, you have all of these little boxes that will put in for you. And I think I used a different grid when I did mine. But let's just go to our sketching tools. Now if I go to my line, every one of these grids is going to snap to it for me. So you don't have to sit there and measure out a Kirby or a Yoshi or whatever insert 8-bit game character here. If you find a picture of it on the internet and you already know what the proportions are, you could quickly and easily sketch something like this out in 5 to 10 minutes. And then it's just a matter of making different levels of extrusions. So once you have a finished product, and with this one I made them completely solid, there's no holes or anything, which is okay, this is what I wanted. Then you get to take and insert from a flash drive, and this could be something that you model yourself if you want to do it with one of your own flash drives. We actually bought some of these in bulk. I tore one of them apart, and I am giving this blank flash drive to all of my students to kind of play with. And I labeled this part here light because when you plug in the USB, or this particular one, there's a blue light that comes on. I want to make it to where you can always see that. So if you look at my flash drive Mario and go back around to the front, he has this chunk kind of coming out of his head here, and there's where it says light. I'll explain why that is in just a second. So the main way that you assemble this all together, if I do a new assembly file, I can place in whatever I happen to make. So here's my Mario, and I'm also going to place in the flash drive insert. Okay, now I'm going to do a couple different constraints. So I'll do a mate constraint, and I think I had this mated inside of this surface, but I want to play with offsets. So I'm going to look at it from the side, and actually I can't see it too well with where exactly it is, so I'm going to grab that and drag it up a little bit. And without being too detailed here, I'm going to double click on mate and just play with my offsets. I think we have to go negative and try and get to where it looks like it's about center. And that looks pretty good. A more precise way, if you go to inspect, you can check distance, and then you can click on 2 points. It'll tell you the distance between those points. Here it's 0.495, and I could take half of 0.495, but then I'd have to adjust for the thickness of all this. This really isn't that precise of a project. At least I'm not having it be that precise of a project. So once I have it in this way, then I want to adjust how it's going to be in the other direction. And this part of my flash drive here is a part that plugs into the USB port, so I want that facing up. So let me switch back to my assembly constraints. And let's see here. I'm having a hard time getting this thing to move. I'm going to do a mate constraint. Here, let's do a flush constraint first. I'm going to make this face flush with this other side here. And now that's oriented the right direction, so I'm going to say apply. And let's lock him in place. So I'm going to make Mario grounded, which means the only thing that can move is this flash drive. I think by making that flush, I just messed things up. So I'm going to go back, and now that it's set in place and it's oriented correctly, I can delete that. Look at it from a front view. I can kind of click and drag that where I want it down a little bit. This is the edges of the circuit board, so I want that concealed within the flash drive, and I still want enough out of it that I'll be able to plug it in. I kind of make this look like a little bionic eye for Mario, and we'll still be able to see the circuit board through this hollow chunk in his other eye. So that'll be kind of neat. Alright, and again, this doesn't have to be precise if you don't want it to be. Let's kind of spin them around, make sure everything's concealed that we want to be concealed. And once we have this, we can save this. And I'm going to save this as a new file. So I'm going to call this Video Mario to remind me that this is the one I'm making for YouTube. We are going to open up a new part file, and we're going to derive a component from Video Mario. And what this means with derive is I can take something like this flash drive insert, I can mirror it, I can scale it, I can do all kinds of things, but here I just want to remove it. So I'm going to click OK, and all of that detail that we had before is now cut out of the inside of this. So now I'm just going to make a new sketch here. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, draw a big rectangle around the outside, and I'm going to extrude cut this chunk. Distance is going to be all. And now if I turn it, and see all that detail that I had on the flash drive itself is now cut out of half of this flash drive. So I'm going to save this as the Luigi half. So I'm going to say save, and I'll call this Video Luigi. I'm going to edit my extrusion. Actually, no, I'm going to edit my sketch. I'm going to leave that center line right where it is, and I'm just going to click and drag this up and hit Finish Sketch again. That cuts off the other half, so now I have the Mario side of things. And I'm going to go File, Save As, so I have a different copy. It's not saving over the top of my Luigi. Video Mario. And this might be a little confusing, but one's a part file, one's an assembly. Okay, and now if I wanted to, I could go into an assembly view. I can make a new assembly, which I actually had here. Nope, that's the different assembly. Maybe I didn't make one. Oh, here it is. Nope, not that one either. Well, that's okay. You could make this as another assembly file and put the two halves together. There really isn't a need to. All you have to do is now take this to your 3D printer, print it out, and super glue the two halves together. And now you have a working custom-made flash drive case.